Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Cheltenham Racecourse here on Thursday. It is the 12th of March 2020, day 3 of the festival. We're going to look at all the races on today's program, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and also join me tomorrow for the big day of the festival. It's Gold Cup Day, previews and selection for all those races also, and also Saturday. One of my favorite races of the year is happening on Saturday at Utah, the Midlands Grand National. I have previews and selection for that race here on YouTube also, along with the Rebel Stakes from Oakland. So it's a very good week of racing and weekend of racing, so join me for that. But day 3 of the festival, this card looks, some races are just so wide open, especially the 450. I think you can make some money with some of these races, so let's get to it right now. Let's get to the 130, the first race from Cheltenham here on the 130, the first race from Cheltenham. It's the Grade 1 Marsh Novices Chase. It's a Grade 1 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $199,500, race for novice 5-year-olds and upwards. We have a dozen horses entered to go the distance of ground of 4,000 meters, or 2.5 miles over the Chase course. The top selection here, we'll go with the 5-horse Midnight Shadow. We'll go 582 in the trifecta. 582 trifecta, a top selection of 5-horse Midnight Shadow. The 7-year-old gelding by Midnight Legend here. Danny Cook gets the mounts for Sue Smith. The horse's most recent outing came the 1st of February at Sandown, 2.5 miles in the Grade 1 Sicily Isles Novice Chase, and the horse finished second by 3.5 lengths behind Itchy Feet, who's actually running back as one today. This horse, he jumped well, he just couldn't catch Itchy Feet, who just took off clear and won his last 2 races very easily. This horse, he was jumping well, but like I said, he needed the race there. On New Year's, he ran here at Cheltenham, 2 miles 5/8 in the Grade 2 Dipper Novices Chase, and he won by 1.25 lengths at 4-1. He upset a little bit that day. He jumped well, quickened up nice. He had a good run, and that was a very impressive victory for him there. And then before that, at Haydock, 2 miles 3/4 in the Class 2 Graduation Chase. He finished second by a half length. It was improvement off the race before. He kind of moved a little bit late. Maybe the extra ground got to him, the extra 2 furlongs, cutting back to 2.5 miles, so he should do well. He hasn't been 100% perfect over the bigger obstacles, though. Before the Haydock race, ran at Carlisle on the 11th of November. 2 miles on a Class 2 Graduation Chase, he fell. What can you do? It just wasn't his day to win, but his most recent form has been very good. He should definitely handle the soft ground. It wouldn't surprise me if you see yielding ground by the time of the race, and I think he's sitting on a very good run, so let's take him here. For your place pot kind of horses here, I also think the 8-horse Reserve 10 can get a piece of it. Robbie Powers on this one for Colin Tizard, 6-year-old gelding by Jeremy. The horse's most recent outing came 30th of November. That came at Newbury, 2 miles 7/8 in the Grade 2 John Francombe Chase, and he finished second by 4 lengths. He was 50 cents a dollar. He should have won that day, but he jumped well. I've seen worse races, but at a 50 cents a dollar, he should have won. Before that, though, in the Rising Stars Novice Chase at Wincanton, 2.5 miles, 9th of November, he did everything right. He won by 3.25 lengths and quickened up nicely, jumped well. That was a very good run, second off the break. And then before that, a Chepstow Novice Chase finished second by 4.5 lengths, 80 cents a dollar. Wasn't 100% fresh, but I've seen a lot worse races. He's coming off a little bit of a long bit of a break, so I think he'll be 100% fresh. He should definitely get the soft, possibly yielding ground today. I'm going to take him here also, 10-1. Definitely horse in your place pot. Like I said all week, I'm giving out a TriCast here. Basically, that's my 1, 2, 3. A lot of these horses you can use in the place pot and all these wagers where you just multiply them on and your lucky sixes, whatever they call them. So you can use them there. But just like I said, the TriCast, that's the top 3 basically for me. But to recap my selections now for the first, the 130 from Shelton. It is the Grade 1 Marsh Novices Chase. Let's take the 5-horse Midnight Shadows, the top selection. We'll go 582 in the TriCast trifecta. Used to 5 and 8 in the place pot. And like I said, I don't like Fahey here. I think he's a very vulnerable favorite. 4-1 here in the States, but he's going to go off the favorite. Let's get to the second race, the 210. The second race, the 210 from Cheltenham. It's the Grade 3 Pertemps Network Final Handicap Hurdle. Grade 3 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $133,000, race for 5-year-olds and upwards. We have 26 horses entered to go the distance of ground here of 4,800 meters, or 3 miles over the Hurdle course. A very wide open race. I'm going to give you three horses that I think can win it in no particular order. Definitely use them in exact forecast combinations if you please, but most definitely use them in that place pot. But the three horses I would be using in no particular order will be the 2 horse, You Know What Time and Airy, the 11 horse here, Skedeberg, and also the 13 horse Welsh Saints. So those numbers were 2, 11, 13. We'll start off with the 2 horse, You Know What Time and Airy, 12-year-old again by Sir Harry Lewis, and Aidan Coleman gets them out for Harry Fry. The horse's most recent outing came the 15th of February Haydock, 3 miles on a Class 2 handicap hurdle. First race since Boxing Day, or just after Boxing Day. He never really had a run. He finished 5th by 17 lengths, and he sat back early, had a little bit of a few mistakes. Actually, some of them weren't his fault, but he never really could get into it. Never had a competitive run. He has hidden form, but he hasn't shown it this season. 2 back at Leopardstown and the Grade 1 Frank Ward Memorial Hurdle. He finished 2nd by 17 lengths. It was a very overflow field of 25 horses, and he jumped well that day. Closed up for 2nd, but he still could have improved a little bit more. And then before that, he ran at where are we? And then before that, he ran at against Paisley Park in the long distance hurdle at Newbury in late November. He finished 4th by 25 lengths there, and he just kind of hit the wall. Paisley Park is just a lot better than him at this particular junction. Took off clear. This horse, he just kind of stalked and couldn't get to Paisley Park and Thistlecrack, who were just better horses than him. And then before that, he ran at Weatherby, 2nd November, 3 miles in a Grade 2 Bet 365 hurdle. He finished 2nd by 5 lengths, so this is probably his best race of the season so far. He stalked, he jumped well, he was closing up well late. There was nothing bad about that run. He has the hidden form. If you look at his season last year, his subpar race came in the Ryanair Stayers Hurdle Aintree last year, but he came back after that to win the Champion Stayers Hurdle at Punchtown very nicely. Came back to a decent 2nd place finish at Weatherby earlier this season. So he has the hidden form. 31, I think that's a good price on him, and if he can find that form like he did last time, I think he'll win. If there's a horse that could benefit from the course drying out a lot, it would be probably him. He's not going to like heavy stuff like you saw at Haydock last time out. If we see yielding today, I'll be very happy about his running. If we see good, I'll be doing cartwheels all across New York City here. So, I like him a lot. 31, definitely a horse you use on your plays pod, because I think he has a strong chance. Like I said, he has some very good hidden form. We'll also use the number 11 horse here, Scadenberg. Gavin Sheen's on the 6-year-old again by Sageberg. Ollie Murphy trains. The horse's most recent outing came New Year's here at Cheltenham, 3 miles in Class 2 handicap hurdle, and he won by 1 3/4 lengths of 40 as the 3-1 favorite, carrying a very low weight at 140 pounds. He jumped well. He quickened up nicely. Nothing bad about that run. Before that, at Aintree, 9th of November, 3 miles in 8th in Class 2 handicap hurdle. He won by 1 3/4 lengths, and it was a weird race there. He got the victory, but I don't know if he was 100% fresh, or he just never looked like he was concentrating on the run, but he still got the victory there. And then a market race on 19th of October, 2 miles 5/8 Class 3 handicap hurdle. Finished 2nd by a nose. Wasn't 100% fresh that day. The winner, Honest Vic, got jumped to a terrific race there. This horse, he ran a good a good place, but off the break, he probably needed the race. And then his last race of the 2018-2019 season came in Huntington, 2 miles and a half in Class 4 Novice Hurdle, where he won by 1 1/4 lengths. He got the job done. Another horse, he should handle the course if it dries out a little bit more. 10-1. Let's take the shot with him, along with 13 horse Welsh Saint. 8-1 here, 6-year-old again by Sante Saints. Nico de Boinville's on this one for Nicky Henderson. The horse's most recent outing came on the 15th of February at Haydock, 3 miles in Class 2 handicap hurdle, and he won by 1 1/4 lengths there, and he loved the wet stuff. Say the course shows up very heavy, he's going to really excel over it. But last time out of Haydock, where it was very wet, he jumped well, he stayed on. Nothing, again, bad about that run. 2 back, though, it does scare me. His Cheltenham race in his most recent outing wasn't very good. That came on New Year's in the Class 1 listed Novice Hurdle, where he finished 3rd by 6.5 lengths over the 2.5-mile trip. He moved a little bit late. Maybe the distance was too short. But I don't know if he didn't look very comfortable with the jumping there. And then before that, at Warwick, 2 miles 5/8 in a Class 4 main hurdle, he won by 15, stepped down class from the previous race. nothing bad about that run, winning by, like I said, over a dozen lengths. I like him a lot. A definite horse that he could get a piece of it if the ground also would get some more moisture in it. I think also, and if it's yielding, he could get a piece of it also. But like I said, definitely he's on the play spot. But to recap my selection now for the second, the 210 from Cheltenham. It's the Grade 3 Pertemps Network Final Handicap Hurdle, in no particular order. Well, I'll give you my wagers for this race in no particular order. My top three would be the 2 horse, Time and Airy, the 11 horse Scattenberg, and the 13 horse Welsh Saint. So those were 2, 11, 13. I'm definitely going to do a few. I'm definitely going to do it each way on Time and Airy, especially at 31. I think he has a strong chance here. I know I'm going to probably do a few exacta keys with him and Scattenberg and Welsh Saint and a few exacta boxes here, but I most definitely am going to put them all in the place pot and in all your multi-race wagers. So now let's get to the third race, the 250 from the 250, the third race from Cheltenham. It is the Grade 1 Ryanair Chase. It's a Grade 1 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse $465,500, race for 5-year-olds and upwards. We have 8 horses entered to go the distance of ground of 4,200 meters, or 2 miles and 5/8 over the Chase course. My top selection here, we're going to take the 5-horse Min. We'll go 5-4-7 in the Tricast trifecta. 5-4-7 Tricast trifecta. Top selection of 5-horse Min. This 9-year-old gelded by Walk in the Park. Paul Townend's on this one for Willie Mullins. The horse's most recent outing came on the 1st of February at Leopardstown. 2 miles and 1/8 in the Grade 1 Dublin Chase. He finished second by 3 1/4 lengths behind Chacun Passois, who just took off clear and actually ran a disappointing race on Tuesday here at Cheltenham. But this horse, he kept going. He closed up a little bit that day. Nothing bad about that run. He's the kind of horse he's going to get to the 2 miles 5/8 trip, which I think is really where he wants to go. Not the extended 2 miles like I had last time out, but 2 miles 5/8 he'll really like. He's run these decent races in the past here at Cheltenham. I think he's sitting on a very good run. 2 back, he ran the Punchestown Chase at Punchestown, 8th of December, 2.5 miles, and he won by 2 1/4 lengths. Seasonal reappearance, 73 cents to the dollar. Probably wasn't even 100% fresh, but he just destroyed and clobbered that field of horses. Very impressive run. And then before that, 30th of April at Punchestown, 2 miles in the Grade 1 Champion Chase, he finished second by 4 lengths behind Undaso, the veteran, who kept going that day. This horse, he just couldn't get there late. Maybe the ground was just a little bit too quick for him. And then before that, though, he probably ran the race of his life. Maybe because he ran the race of his life before, he just didn't have a lot left in the tank at Punchestown afterwards. But the race prior was at Aintree, 2 miles in the JLT Chase, and he won by 20 lengths there, and he could have probably won around another 5 times and won that easily. He ran here at the festival last year, going the 2-mile trip in the Queen Mother Chase, where he just didn't do anything against Altior, never getting into it. And then he won the Dublin Chase in 2019 very nicely. I like him at the 2 miles 5/8 trip. That makes him a more competitive run for him. 5-2, let's take him here. If there's another horse that could possibly upset here, it could be the 4-horse Frodon. I'm very confident in Min, but I kept going back to Frodon. Brownie Frost is on this one for Paul Nichols, this 8-year-old gelding by nickname. This horse has run these good races this season and then run these crap races this season. Most recently, a good race at Kempton, 2 miles and 9/16 in the Silvanio Conti Chase, where he won by 1 1/4 lengths and did everything right. But before that, against Lost in Translation in the Betfair Chase at Haydock, this horse stunk, finishing 3rd by 37 lengths, never getting into it. Maybe the trip got to him, the long 3 miles and 1/4. And then before that at Aintree, a race you could probably throw out in the Monarch's Garden, a limited handicap chase, where the horse finished 3rd by 15 lengths because they had to bypass a few fences because of the low sun there. But this horse never really had a good going there. Won this race impressively last year, and actually is a winner of his last 3 over this course here at Cheltenham. Won the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup handicap chase here in December 2018. Went on to win the Cotswold in January of 2019, and won this race last year very impressively. I think that was the best race of his lifetime. But like I said, this horse stunk so far this season. But come back to Cheltenham, where this horse run good in the past, you want to keep an eye on this one also at 4-1. But like I said, I am more confident in Min in this spot because he's had a better season, and also he's finally getting back to that 2 mile 5/8 trip. But to recap my selection for the third now, the 250 from Cheltenham, it's the Grade 1 Ryanair Chase. Let's take the 5-horse Min as a top selection. We'll go 5-4-7 in the Tricast trifecta. Use the 5 and the 4 in the place pot. So now let's get to the 4th race from Cheltenham. The featured fourth race to 3:30, it is the Grade 1 Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. It's a Grade 1 event for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $432,500, races for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have 15 horses entered to go the distance of ground here of 4,800 meters or 3 miles over the hurdle course. The top selection here, I love the 11-horse Somerville Boy. I'm going to go 11-8-2 in the tri-cash trifecta. 11-8-2 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection 11-horse Somerville Boy. The 8-year-old gelding here by Stan Mason. Jonathan Burke's on this one for Tom George. The horse's most recent outing came 25th of January here at Cheltenham, 3 miles in the Grade 2 Cleve Hurdle. A very weird run for him. He looked like he was going to go away with it, beating Paisley Park that day until he got to the final few hurdles. Mistake, then the last one, total mistake, which cost him that day. But he kept going that day behind Paisley Park. He loves running here at Cheltenham. Two back on New Year's here, he ran in the Real Kill Hurdle, the Grade 2 Real Kill Hurdle, and he won by 2 1/4 lengths there, and he, it was under the dry most race, but he was excelling. He jumped well, he quickened up nicely. That was a very impressive run, a major improvement off his second race off the break this year. That came in the Grade 1 Henry VIII Novices Chase at Sandown during Tingle Creek weekend. He didn't finish the race, he fell that day. What can you do? It just wasn't his day, he just couldn't keep afloat. And then before that, Beginner's Chase and Utaxter going the 2-mile trip, he won by 4. Quickened up nicely, jumped well. That was a very good run over the bigger obstacles. He stunk last year when he was over the hurdles. His 2018-2019 campaign was horrible. He never jumped well. He never did anything right there. It just was horrible. But since they've taken him to the bigger obstacles and to the staying trip, he's done very well. He's actually a festival winner, winning here in, I want to say 2017 or 2018. I know the year he won, I had a lot of money on him. That was one of my big bets of the Shelton Festival that year, and because I know he won the race. I believe he won at Sandown right before the festival, and I had him at Sandown too. When he won at the festival, I was very excited. But back to today, not 3 years ago, but he loves running here. Since they took him to the bigger obstacles, he did better than when they took him back to the hurdles. He's done better, so his form has really gotten back to the competitive. To run competitive races again, not running these crap races like he did last year. 8-1, I think he could possibly beat Paisley Park, so we'll use him as a top selection. Paisley Park on paper should win also. He's only lost like 4 times, and his most recent form lines have been great. He won the Cleve Hurdle very nicely at Cheltenham, even though telling you the truth, if Somerville Boy didn't make the mistake at the end, he probably would have won, beating Paisley Park, but the Paisley Park took off clear because of the subpars of Somerville Boy. Before then, long distance hurdle at Newbury, the horse won nicely, not as nice as he normally does, but he got the job done. And then his race of his life came here last year in the Stayers Hurdle, where he won by 2 3/4, going away with it, being Fawhian and some tough horses. Like I said, he hasn't lost in recent memory since 2018. He's done everything right. He is also a likely winner here, but like I said, I think Somerville Boy, he looked like he was going somewhere last time out in the Cleve Hurdle, so I'm going to take the shot that he's going to keep the momentum going and run these good races and overcome that horrible campaign he had last season. But to recap my selection now for the 4th, the 3:30 from Cheltenham, it's the Grade 1 Stayers Hurdle. We'll take the 11-horse Somerville Boy as a top selection. We'll go 11-8-2 in the tri-cash trifecta. Let's get to the 5th race now from the 4:10, the 5th race from Cheltenham. It's the Grade 3 Brown Advisory and Merriebelle Stable Plate Handicap Chase. It's a Grade 3 event for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $146,500, race for 5-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 26 horses entered to go the distance of ground of 2 miles and 5/8, or about the distance of ground of 4,200 meters over the Chase course. This is a very wide open race. Like the 2:10, I'm going to give you 3 horses I think can win here, and I'm most definitely going to be using them in the place pot and in exacta and forecast combinations. The 3 horses I like here and fancy would be the 8-horse Happy Diva. I also like the 13-horse Ben Dundee, and also the 16-horse here Derain de Carjac. So 3 horses again would be 8, 13, 16, no particular order. We'll definitely use them, like I said, exact forecast combinations and in the place pot. We'll start off with the number 8 horse here, Happy Diva. This 9-year-old mare by King's Theatre gets the jockey booking of Richard Patrick up for Carrie Lee. Supposed to carry 158 pounds, but with the 3 pound apprentice up, this horse is only going to carry 155, which I think is a good competitive weight in this race. It's not the world's worst weight. The horse's most recent outing came the 18th of January at Ascot, 2 miles and 5/8 in a Class 2 handicap chase, and the horse finished fourth by 2 3/4 lengths. He was on the drive. He was excelling a little bit late, but as the 7-2 favorite, he should have won that day, or she should have won that day. Facing the mares before that, the horse ran at Doncaster, 2 miles 9/16 on the 29th of December, and the horse finished second by a head behind Lady Buttons. This horse jumped well. She quickened up a little bit that day. She just missed at the post. Nothing bad about that race. And then her most recent Cheltenham appearance came on the 16th of November. 2.5 miles in the Grade 3 Bet Victor Gold Cup handicap chase, winning by a neck, beating the boys, jumped well. She held on to a very nice, exciting stretch run that day. Something I like about Cheltenham, especially on Tuesday's card. You saw a lot of exciting finishes like you did with this horse in November. But, she's run well against the boys recently. She gets the good weight here. 21, I'm going to give her a shot here. I'm also going to fancy the number 13 horse, Ben Dundee, the 8-year-old gelding by Beneficial. David Russell's on this one for Gordon Elliott. The horse's most recent outing came on the 27th of December at Leopardstown, 2 miles in a handicap hurdle, and he finished 7th by 16 lengths and never quickened up. Distance was way too short. Coming to a 2 miles 5/8 trip today, you should really get this horse in a level playing field. Before that, the horse ran the 7th of December at Navan, 2.5 miles in a handicap chase. He finished second by 3/4 length, and he had to leave for a split portion. The winner, Manila Times, who had a much less weight than this horse, got to this horse late. But this horse, ran a respectable race there off the break. And then the 1st of May, the horse ran a Punchestown, yielding around 2.5 miles in a handicap chase, finished fourth by 14 lengths. A low weight, never really excelled there on the quite quickish ground for than he was normally used to. He ran here at the festival last year in a listed novice handicap chase, where he finished third by 21 lengths. The winner plus Tart went on to have a great season last year and so far this year. This horse, he jumped well, but just wasn't getting thumb late. I like him back to the longer trip here today. Good weight, David Russell, the veteran, up. Let's take him also with the number 16 horse, Derain du de Carjac. I would say this horse's name wrong, but pardon that. 7-year-old gelding here by Balco gets the jockey poking of Tom Cannon up for Alan King. The horse ran most recently on New Year's here at Cheltenham. 2 miles and 5/8 in the Dipper Novices Chase, where he finished third by 2 lengths, and he kept going that day. He jumped well. Something I've noticed about him, maybe he wants a little longer trip in the future, but he still ran a decent race there. Before that, Newbury in the Ladbrokes Novices Chase on the 29th of November, he finished third by 6 1/4 lengths behind Champ. He was facing tougher horses, and he just wasn't excelling late. And then his seasonal reappearance at Huntington, 2.5 miles in a Class 2 Novice Chase, he won by 3.5 lengths. High weight didn't matter. Jumped well on quite fast ground. He loved every bit of it. If he's only won 3 times, and they came quite close to each other. But he's a kind of horse. He loves placing, so he's a horse you could definitely use in your place pod. Coming here to Cheltenham again, like I said, he's either gonna like the trip or he's gonna want a little bit longer. He's the wise guy horse out of these horses I'm giving you. 12-1. Like I said, definitely a horse. He likes to play, so definitely use him in the place pod. But to recap my selection now for the 5th, the 410 from Cheltenham. It's Grade 3 Brown Advisory, Merriebelle Stable Plate Handicap Chase. In no particular order, we're going to be using the number 8 horse here, Happy Diva. We'll also be using the 13 horse, Ben Dundee, and the 16 horse, Derain de Carjac. I want to say that horse's name wrong, but I can't. Well, I am, but I want to say it right also. But we'll go 8, 13, 16 here. We'll definitely use them in exact forecast combinations, and we'll definitely use them in the plays pod. So now let's get to the 450, the 6th race. The 450, the 6th race from Cheltenham. It's the Grade 2 Daylesford Mares Novices Hurdle. It's Grade 2 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $119,500. Race for novice 4-year-olds and upwards. Fillies mares only. We have an overflow field of 22 horses entered to go the distance of ground here of 4,200 meters, or 2 miles and 5/8 over the hurdle course. My top selection here, I'm going to take the 3-horse Floressa. I'm going to go 3, 6, 12. In the tri-cash trifecta. Basically it's top 3, like I said earlier. 3, 6, 12 tri-cash trifecta. Top selection of 3-horse Floressa. Nico de Boinville's on this 5-year-old mare here. Nikki Henderson trains. The horse's most recent outing came 25th of January at Doncaster, 2 miles and 1/8 in the Grade 2 Yorkshire Rosemare's Hurdle, and she finished third by 3 lengths there. And she just never was really comfortable. She never jumped straight, and she just never really had a good run. And that was a very subpar kind of race. coming maybe to a longer trip should suit her well. I'm going to give her one more shot. Before that, she ran here in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, excuse me, not here, at Newbury, 2 miles on November 30th in Mayor's Novice Hurdle Class 1 event. She won by 1.5 lengths, and she did everything right. She jumped well, she quickened up nicely. That was a very good run. And then in Class 2 Novice Hurdle at Newbury, 2 miles on the 7th of November, she finished second by a nose behind Silver Forever. She just missed at the end. She ran just as good as the winner. Nothing bad about that run. And then at Worcester in late October on yielding ground, 2 miles in a Class 4 Mayor's Novice Hurdle. She won by 19 off the break, did everything right. Her last race does scare me a little bit, but I think she should like the longer distance. Also, the yielding ground, hopefully, which we'll see today, she should get a good trip with. 6-1, I'll use her here. Definitely going to do an each way on her. Along with the 6th horse here, Concertista, the 6-year-old mare by Nathaniel. Daryl Jacobs on this one for Willie Mullins. This horse's most recent outing came in Ireland on the 2nd of February at Leopardstown, 2 miles and a quarter, and a mare's handicap hurdle, where she finished third by 4 3/4 lengths, and she just couldn't get there late. Maybe the ground was just a little bit too quick for her. That's what a lot of people were saying that weekend at Leopardstown when they had the Dublin Racing Festival. The ground was just a little bit too fast for that time of year, and some horses just weren't handling it. Like this one, she just couldn't get into it. It wasn't her day to win. Before that, a maiden hurdle at Leopardstown, 2 miles on the 26th of December, she finished third by 15 lengths, and she kept going that day. She jumped okay. Nothing bad about that run, but she still could improve a lot more. And then a Fairy House, 19th of November, and a mare's main hurdles, finished fourth by 5 3/4 lengths. Again, she just couldn't get there late. But her one Cheltenham race in this race last year, I thought she ran a terrific race, placing that day at 66-1 off a 2-year break. She jumped well. She just missed at the end. That was a terrific race. So maybe she could handle Cheltenham. At 8-1, she's a kind of wise guy horse. Definitely use her in your place pot. But I am more confident in Floressa. But to recap my selection up for the 6 to 550, or excuse me, the 450 from Cheltenham, it's the Grade 2 Daylesford Mayor's Novice Hurdle. Let's take as a top selection the 3-horse Floressa. We'll go 3, 6, 12 in the trifecta, 3, 6 in the place pot. Let's get to the nightcap, the 7th race from Cheltenham. The nightcap, the 5:30 from Cheltenham. It's the Fluke Whale Win Kim Muir Challenge Cup Amateur Riders Handicap Chase. It's an amateur handicap chase for Class 2 horses, going for a purse $93,000. Race for 5-year-olds and upwards. Horses rated 0 to 145. 26 horses are entered to go the distance of ground here, 5,200 meters, or the 3 miles and 1/4 trip over the chase course. The top selection here, I'm going to give you 2 horses that they can win. I'm going to go with the 14-horse Ardlethan, and also the number 22 horse here, Cloth Cap. So 14-22 for me. I'm going to definitely do an exacta box or forecast combination box, and most definitely use them in the place pot here. But we'll start off with the 14-horse Ardlethan, the 7-year-old gelding by Archon. Gino Andrews is on this one for Dan Skelton. The horse's most recent outing came the 1st of February at Weatherby, 3 miles in the Grade 2 Taunton Novices Chase, and he finished second by 4 1/4 lengths, and they put the blinkers on that day, which I think really helped him. He concentrated on the run, he jumped well, he quickened up a little bit. Nothing bad about that run. I like him with the extra 1/4 mile today. Blinkers on again, the headgear on again today. I think 15-1's a great price on him. If you go, I'm probably going to do an each way on him. That's how much I like him. Before that, he ran the Grade 2 Hampton Novices Chase at Warwick, 3 miles on the 11th of January, and he finished 5th by 22 lengths there. And he hit the wall late. He never really concentrated on the run, and I just think he off of that run, it looked like he needed the blinkers. And when they put him on next round, he proved that he needed the blinkers. And then before that, he ran the John Franco Novices Chase in Newbury, 2 miles 7/8, 30th of November, facing tougher competition. He finished third by 8.5 lengths. He just had nothing left in the tank late. And then a Weatherby, 3 miles in Novice Chase, finished second by 4 lengths. He kept going that day, but it was against lesser quality horses. But I like him with the headgear on, longer trip, 15-1. I think he'll be there at the finish, along with the 22 horse here, Cloth Cap. 8-year-old gelding by Beneficial gets Deegan up in the saddle for John Joe O'Neill. The horse's most recent outing came in mid-December at Doncaster, 3 miles in a Class 2 handicap chase. And he finished second by a neck that day at 80 cents a dollar, and only facing 3 other horses. He should have won that day, but he just couldn't get there late. And my old Gold, who won that day, just ran that, edged him late and ran that better race. Before that, at Ascot, 3 miles in Class 3 handicap chase, finished third by 6.5 lengths, and he never quickened up, but he never weakened out of it either. He stayed well, he jumped well. It was an average kind of run. And then at Chepstow in October, 3 miles in a Class 2 handicap chase, finished 4th by 29 lengths, and he kind of hit the wall late, not 100% fresh. He ran at that air in the Scottish Grand National last April, where he ran a good third place finish by 4 lengths. He just couldn't get there late, but with the low weight, I thought he got around the race course well. He should definitely like the trip. He should be 100% fresh here today at 21. Also, I fancy him. If I had to give you a selection between the two horses, it would probably go to the 14 horse Arlington first, and then this one second. But he is if he goes up above 20-1, say at post time of the race, I might do a small each way on him also. But I'm most definitely doing one on Arlington the 14. But to recap my selection now for the 7th, the 5:30 from Cheltenham, as a top selection, like I said, I would give you the 14 Arlington. We'll go 14-22 in the forecast exacta. Like I said, I'm probably going to do an exacta forecast combination box, but we'll definitely use the 14 and 22 in the place pot. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and remember to join me tomorrow for the final day of the festival on Gold Cup Day here at Cheltenham. Good luck, everybody.